you guys? It's your boy Big Dog. I'd like to welcome you guys to the channel, to another DC TV Talk. Today I'm covering episode 7, Doom Patrol, Therapy Patrol, which, man, I was watching this episode, and I ain't gonna lie. It's like you can't help but to be glued to what's going on. Because I think at this point, you've already grown to care about the characters. Every character is unique. I think there's something to like about every single character, even though there are things to dislike about them because they are a band of misfits and some of them are dicks sometimes and just act like assholes. But you see what they were at a point of what they used to be in life, and then the tragedies that befell pretty much all of them, and then who they became now. You see that the way they act, the way they do, is because of shield to guard themselves. In this episode, it seemed like everybody's shield got took down, but before that, we got to go through even just a more hardship just throughout a regular day, as what these characters go through, and everybody has something unique, and everybody's something was different from another person's. And like I said, the first 6 episodes, you grew with these characters, so now you already care about them. So then when you get to see even more of what they're going through, the more torment that they deal with every single day, it makes you care that much more by the time we get to the end of the episode, where everybody's really laying everything out there on the table. Because I don't think every character is necessarily relatable to, but I think you kind of feel for every single character. Because you have Larry, who had a love who he couldn't express because ever since he was a kid, he knew who he was, but he couldn't be that person simply because of his parents, the way the world worked. You know what I'm saying? And then he got older, he got married, he had a wife, he had kids, and then, but there was always the true part of him that he could never express to the world. Then you had Rita, who was groomed ever since, didn't get the chance to be a child at all. Just like she didn't even, like, it's insane. When her parents like chose her career path and just like, no, you're gonna do this. She didn't go to school, so of course her people skills are horrible. It's not like she went to a private school where everybody, you know what I'm saying, is like I ain't gonna say, well, okay, I'm not gonna shit on private schools, but well, she didn't go to like a public school where she got the chance to really interact with just like normal people. Like she's been brought up in the world thinking like this is who you are and you're always better than everybody else around you. So of course she's not, you know what I'm saying, she's not savvy to regular conversations, and she, of course, she thinks she's better than people because this is what she's been her whole entire life. Her parents made her that, and so of course she has mental issues. Of course she don't know who she are. She's only Rita Farr. She doesn't know who. I don't even know what her real name probably is. Like, I don't even know. She probably don't even remember at this point. You know what I'm saying? So of course she's always, and then it's so crazy for her to be up so high, and then it's like now I'm sliding through the gutters just trying to get by, and I'm crying out, yet nobody hears me. When once upon a time I had a voice, I had a face that everybody recognized, and every time I said or did something, people would hear me out. And so now it's like that's gone. Cliff is like getting, not Cliff, Larry is still getting connected with like the negative man inside of him, and so he's trying to control that. We have Vic, who is dealing with stuff from his past. He always wanted to keep things from his father because he knew how that was. You know what I'm saying? He's never really trusted his father with knowing information and things like that. His mama was always like the heart for him. And I'm gonna get to like what happens with him at the end of the episode in just a second. You have Jane, who feels betrayed by the chief. she thought that was the one person who understood her or was trying to understand her. But the fact that she feels like, no, he betrayed me. He was gonna put me in this crazy home. He didn't think I was. He thought I was broken. And so, the one person who protected you. And then we see something from her past is when I think it's just her father walks in the room and he hears her crying and he just leaves out. So, like I said, her past is very, very mixed and blurred because we don't really know too much about it. And we didn't really get to even expound upon it in this episode because she's the one person who's like, I fuck all this, which is not surprising because she's always been like kind of shut out, especially knowing that the fact that she talked to the chief and what he saw was what she thought that was safe, and then she come to find out like that really wasn't what it was. It was like an illusion, you know what I'm saying? So now everything she thought about expressing herself to people is dead now. It's going to be hard for her to trust somebody like that again unless like it's explained to her. And then we have Cliff, which is something that ties everybody else together because he's having illusions of him going to. Because I'm watching, I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? When he goes to his daughter's father's house. You know what I'm saying? Well, with his daughter's, you know what I'm saying, her new father's house, and he's like, yo, I didn't even want the brat. And like, I'm thinking to myself, Cliff is definitely finna kill him right now. There's no other way this is gonna end other than him killing him. Because he just disrespected this guy's daughter, saying that how his daughter was a burden on him. And the clip just is actually it's just a breakdown of him. He's talking to a cyborg, you know what I'm saying, and like everybody breaks and like Cliff has a complete mental breakdown and goes off and then when he comes up with the therapy session and everybody really starts to get the Cliff puts everything he has out there on the table. Rita actually comes out and says what she says, and I think I still want to know, and I think this is good because they didn't expose everything about their past because so Rita still has something that she did in her past, and I think we're pretty sure we're gonna get to find out. I think we're gonna get to find out something about James' past eventually. I think we know mostly about Larry's and his issues. We know about Cliff's and his issues because he's like, I'm following in my dad's footsteps. I hate that. I hate myself for doing that. I'm no different from him, and I know I hated him. I always know people like that who like you grew up seeing somebody mistreat somebody and you like I'll never be that person, and then you become that person, and then one day you just sit back looking like, damn, I'm the thing I hate now, you know. It's and like throughout this episode it's like, yes, they are dealing with some serious shit, but they keep the comedy working in such a way that you mess with. But then we get to Vic, and Vic like drops the hammer like I killed my mom. And so this is something that's weighing real, real heavy on Vic. But since he does not have the information no more of like, he gonna get to actually see that it really wasn't him. I don't think it was him. I'm firm believer that it wasn't him. I think it's on Silas who did it. And I think his memories are screwed. And I think eventually he gonna get to see that. And then it's he's the person, he's kind of like the glue. This episode really seemed like Cliff was a glue, but Cyber was the one that's actually like, yeah, we need to be a team. But I think after he finds out the truth about what happened to his mom, he's going to break. You know what I'm saying? Then we see Jane shows the picture of like what Cyborg holding all the dead, holding I think Jane and the rest of the dead bodies around. It's like Mr. Nobody's in their head. Then we find out it's Mr. Colonel, or was it Colonel? Admiral Whiskers, who was in Robot Man's mind the entire time. Fucking with his systems and shit. I like Robot Man. I think I'm probably the most like Robot Man. If I'm being I like other than like the kids and shit, just how he acts. I think I would probably be more similar to like Robot Man. But yeah, it's definitely delving into the psyche in such a way that is unique, and you have to applaud the people over the show for what they're doing and how they're making this work with all these different characters and their backstory so unique, but yet you care about every single one of them, and you can't help but to feel, because I feel like everybody in the world is broken in some kind of way. Uh, if not everybody, most of us are broken in some kind of way, in that we always have coping mechanisms that we use, and we say these people coping mechanisms, and just sometimes you get to a point where you have to break, and you just really have to sit down and talk to other people. It's like sometimes you just have to talk to other people. It's the best way to deal with a lot of these situations. But yeah, I thought this episode was great. Like straight up, thought it was great. I can't wait to see what we do next and what we dive into next, because after this episode, it left kind of everything in like a weird space. We've got everything on the table. Now we just have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Together as a group, everybody needs to help each other. But I don't know how that's gonna be, because Jane just dipped and Cliff gonna have to shake back. You know what I'm saying? So and everything, and I feel like I said, I feel like it's getting real close to Cyborg finding out what actually happened to his mother, and I feel like we gonna soon find out what's going on with the girl with Rita, who apparently slit her wrist because of something that happened with Rita. So it's interesting as fuck. Like super interesting. But you guys let me know what you thought about this episode down in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you with you guys later.